The only difference is people are still dealing with the same problems. So it doesn't matter about the age or the time or whatever. It doesn't even matter whether you're seeking help or not seeking help. There's still people who are dealing with the issues of life, and it's affecting them in a way that you would read about in Winesburg, Ohio. So I'm sorry I didn't say this.
Well, we can try one other thing.
What's that?
We can try one other thing. It's gonna cut it off the screen, but let's do this. I apologize. I don't know why it's doing it. There you go. It bringing all of your slides in now. I don't know why it's not doing the video, but
Okay, maybe it's too big for file.
it
could be. All right. Yeah, I see it's there. Again, in regard to Winesburg's relevance to today, we're all broken, we're all misshapen, Cubist portraits like the people of Winesburg, Ohio. And these particular Cubist paintings were produced the same year that Winesburg, Ohio was published. So you can see why people called it a Cubist piece of literature. The stories are cobbled together much in the same way that these paintings are. But the important thing is we still form an interesting and sometimes beautiful picture, even though we're broken people, even though we have problems, even though we don't always solve things the way we should or deal with things or issues in life the way we should. It's still a beautiful picture, and that's what was said about the twisted apples as well. They still have something sweet about them. In other words, it's all about you, okay? You are in Winesburg, Ohio not because you identify with a character. You are in Winesburg, Ohio. You're a person just like the people in Winesburg because you are dealing with some of the same problems they are, okay? We all know somebody who, like Wayne Billabong, had to quit his job or leave his career because he was accused of doing something that he didn't do, okay? We all know somebody who aspired maybe to be an actor or a writer, and they were stuck in their geographic location, or they got mixed up with the wrong crowd. We all know people who are struggling because of their situations, people who are in a state of crisis. And some of us are in that state. So it's all about you, and that's what makes it the most relevant. If these people were on Facebook or on LinkedIn or any of the social media places you might go, they might look like anybody else. They might look like people in this room. Any of these people could be right here in this room. So, there we have Wayne Biddlebaum and Joe Welling and Elizabeth Willard and Jesse Bentley. And, it's just, they could be anybody. So Winesburg, Ohio is going to continue to be relevant as long as we have people who are aspiring to be more than they are, people who are failing to achieve their goals, people who are in disadvantaged situations that they can't get out of, people who are in bad situations. When bad things happen to good people, or good things happen to bad people, okay? Those are things that you read about in Winesburg, Ohio, and they're just part of life. It'll continue to be relevant so long as we have gossip, and we have facts, and we have the real world and the fantasy world. As long as we have people living in cities and small towns and the mentalities that go with those places, Winesburg, Ohio is going to continue to be relevant. And it's going to be as relevant as the sunrise and the sunset over all of the Winesburgs of the world. Now, I took some liberties with adapting this paragraph from chapter 6 called Godliness in Winesburg, Ohio, and you'll be able to tell where I adapted it. And I'll read it to you so you don't have to strain. But think about how prophetic this was in terms of Sherwood Anderson, and all I did was change a few words, okay? So it will perhaps be somewhat difficult for the men and women of a later day to understand the people of Winesburg. In the last 100 years, a vast change has taken place in the lives of our people. A revolution has in fact taken place. The coming of electronic media, attended by all the clicks, beeps, bright lights, and alarms of our affairs. The shrill cries of millions of new voices that have come among us from over our borders. The going and coming of cars. The growth of the suburbs and the decline of cities. The building of multi-lane interstate highways that weave around and through towns and past farmhouses. And now in these later days, the coming of the internet with Google and Amazon has worked a tremendous change in the lives and the habits of thought of our people of mid-America. Attributed to Sherwood Anderson and me. So there you have it. That's the relevance of Winesburg, Ohio at 100 years old, and Sherwood Anderson at 143. And I'm willing to entertain any questions as we celebrate Sherwood's birthday here.
Can I just make a comment? We moved here from South Dakota. I'm a college English professor.
Yeah.
And Sherwood Anderson was one of the people on my required reading list in my doctoral program. And when I moved here and started teaching, and I asked my students every time, probably 95% of them had never even heard of it.
Yes.
So I had made it my personal mission that they have to read something of his. We don't do Winesburg because I can't in the classes I'm doing, but he has wonderful short stories.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Corn planting and Unlighted Lamps are two of the best ones. And
Yeah.
my students are very relevant to today.
Yes. And I've used I'm a Fool with
Yes.
high school students and sometimes junior high students. So, yeah, and one of the things that Bill Sutton says in that video is he said, I love the way he says it, I wish you could hear him say it. He says, if you look at any anthology of American literature, you are going to find, a representation of Sherwood Anderson. Why? Because of Winesburg, Ohio. And that's true. He's about as American as they come. So thank you all for coming tonight. I really appreciate it. It was a joy and a pleasure to be here and do this for you.
Just a couple of extra comments. Some of you may or may not have been in the Winesburg Inn during its time when the theme for the Winesburg Inn was Sherwood Anderson, and actually the theme for the town was Sherwood Anderson. So the caricature paintings here by Ken Bauer were commissioned for the Winesburg Inn and were on the walls there. And we have some extra postcards laying on the table over here that you are very welcome to take. It may bring back memories for some of you, or maybe for some of your relatives that may have attended the dining room there and saw these paintings on the wall. Also, Will has brought some pencils, nice gold ones. Are they graphs or for his foundation? You're welcome to take a pencil, a postcard. There's some bookmarks there, some leaflets. Sandy French, who is on the Anderson Committee, I know Will thanked myself and Jane, but Sandy French is the chairperson of our Sherwood Anderson Committee and has been for, I won't say how many years because it kind of gives our age away, but and Mary Jane Doors is helping tonight. Also, other members of the Anderson Committee are Linda Wilbert. Some of you know Linda. I know she stopped brought some goodies, so I hope you'll eat some of those. And also Barb Davis, who some years ago was actually a representative of Storytown Tours, which went to the Winesburg Inn and went through the downtown section. And she is also on our committee, so it wasn't just Jane and I. It was a combination of people working together. And we hope that we can continue to tell the Anderson story, even though sometime in the past it wasn't all that well liked by a lot of people. I hope when you're downtown Clyde, you will stop by and see the Ohio Historical Marker, which is in what some of us like to call Anderson Plaza. Some people call it the Railroad Plaza, where he may have, during his boyhood, given out his newspapers and whatnot. Also in the notebooks over on the table, there is a list of what some people came up with as who and where in the settings of the stories related to those characters that actually lived in Clyde. So much to tell about Anderson. And I'm kind of a fan too, not a scholar like Will, but my husband and I had the opportunity this last March to actually visit Marion, Virginia, where Sherwood spent the last of his life. We went to his gravesite, we went to the hotel there, in fact stayed at the hotel where Sherwood was invited at the grand opening there and his time in Virginia. I noticed a picture on here of his writing cabin, which is in the woods, just across the road from the house he called Ripshin, where he spent his last days. So lots of information out there. Most of it Jean has here at the museum. Please stop by the museum, talk to Jean, see what's here. Sherwood Anderson is here still, so thanks.
I learned
didn't remember this being in the I always like the minister one. So see, I had to think of that to understand that well, that was hard for me to understand. I think it was so much. You're trying to how you should Christian, but it's going crazy because he can't order it. So we try to get out of the signs.
No. I don't know. I didn't want to do This is weird tonight, I tell you what. You're welcome. There we go. I didn't hear what you said.